What's up, guys? Drew with Escaping Reality Adventure Co. And as you can see, we're not in Florida anymore. I decided since we got a snow day and she's still coming down, I was going to get in the Jeep and I was going to go find a place to make a video so we can talk about snow recovery in Northwest Florida. Snow recovery, Northwest Florida. Feeling a little nostalgic. Haven't seen something like this since I lived in Ohio about 10 years ago. Yeah, let's get into the video. Something that goes hand in hand with snow time recovery, winter recovery, is going to be safety and warmth. As you can see, I'm not wearing my normal ball cap, I'm wearing a stocking cap. One of the first things you need to make sure you have in your vehicle for winter time is also going to be gloves. So along with your hat, and I always carry these gloves with me year round, even though I live in Florida. You never know when you're going to find yourself in a snowstorm, especially when you're traveling. I like going out west and being up in the mountains, and when you're at 5,000–6,000 feet, doesn't really matter time of year, you can see snow. You end up getting stuck. It's always good to have gloves, a little heavier jacket, and then a beanie of some sorts to at least keep you warm while you're doing your recovery. So let's go ahead and talk about gear that we're gonna need when we get into our recovery. Many of you overlanders know and campers know that one of the most helpful tools that you bring with you to camp is going to be your shovel. These shovels are multi-purpose. You use them for a lot of different reasons. I use it for when I need to go find a tree to talk to a man about a horse, if you're picking up what I'm putting down. In this kind of situation, these shovels are also imperative, especially in winter camping. Really, the shovel can be the difference between getting out and staying stuck and cold where you're at. Obviously, you know what the shovel's for. You're gonna be digging yourself out, and depending on how much snow is in the area, you're probably gonna have to dig pretty deep. So in the mountains, what happens is when the snow's coming down really hard early in the season, if there is no snow on the ground, what'll happen is that snow will lay down and then the sun will come out and warm it, and then it'll kind of turn into a crust. If it doesn't quite warm it enough to melt it completely, it'll turn into a crust. Well, then your next snowfall will come and then it'll fall on top of that, so on and so forth. And so in the mountains, you'll see that process repeat, and that snow will start to layer up, layer up, layer up, and then you have a hard pack of snow, and you got to find the next thickest layer to be able to get down to in order to get yourself out. So like out here today, this is powder. This is fresh powder. So say if we had another storm next week and then this storm stopped, sun came out, warmed it up just enough to turn the top layer to water, and the nighttime came and froze it, and then it stayed cold enough to keep the snow from going anywhere, it would start to compact on top of itself, like I was saying. Then you'll get this nice powdery stuff on top with that below it, and once you break through that, you're done. You won't go anywhere else. Shovel is going to be imperative of getting you out of that situation. The next thing we can go into. This is all common sense, but this video is for my new guys, for my new guys and girls that are getting into this kind of thing and don't know really where to start. Always have a toe strap. This is a 4-inch toe strap. This one is rated at 10,663 pounds. That is the working load. The maximum brake strength is 31,518. This is made by Rhino USA. I'm not sponsored by them at all. This is just a piece of equipment that the wife had in her previous Jeep and has ended up in my Jeep. Me personally, I also carry 2 straps. So I carry that one, and then in the bed, I also carry a bag. That one has my Badlands from Harbor Freight. Cheap, simple, it works. I've pulled dozens of vehicles out using that Badlands strap, and when it breaks, well, I'll just go buy another one. They're fairly cheap. Let's go head over to the front of the Jeep and talk about a winch. All right, guys. So up here on the front of the Jeep, we got our 12,000-pound Badlands winch underneath all of this ice and snow. You can't really see it right here. Again, this is just a Harbor Freight winch. It's 12,000 pounds. I got it fairly cheap from a local junkyard. It came off of a wrecked Jeep that came in. I ended up picking it up for like 50 bucks because the case was cracked and they didn't think it worked. I ended up taking it home, fixing it, and then repairing the case, mounted it, and she's been real good on this Jeep for about 3-ish years, give or take. The reason why a winch is so important, especially in wintertime, is going to be because the snow is unforgiving. Once you get stuck a lot of times in snow, you can't really get out under your own power. You're going to either need someone to pull you out, or a winch to pull you out. The best thing about the winch and being in the woods is you have a plethora of trees that you can get to. That is really the gist with the winch. Not only is it helpful to pull yourself out, but you can also pull your buddies out as well, making sure your Jeep is a good base to pull somebody out from. Along with the winch, you also have a snatch block. This is a 12-ton snatch block. You can buy these from Tractor Supply. You can also get these from Harbor Freight. This was gifted to me by a buddy for Christmas a couple years ago. Cool thing I like about this is it has a Zerk fitting right there, so you can actually grease the wheel. I will get this set up and show you guys how this kind of works. All right, guys, this is how you're going to use your snatch block. Say you are stuck somewhere and you have nothing out in front of you to where you can pull yourself forward, but off to the right, you have a couple of trees, and then you actually do have a pretty decent tree, say, back behind you, or in line with you in this case. What you're gonna do is you're gonna come over to one of these trees that's diagonal from you. This is, again, why it's important to make sure you always have 2 tow straps. You're gonna wrap the tow strap around the tree, like such, and then you wanna take your snatch block, and you're gonna open it up like this, grab your winch line, and you're gonna just drop it in between those two, kind of like that. So then it'll be kind of like a pulley. Now that you have the pulley done like that, you just take your tail end and toss it over there, keep it out of your way. Now what you're gonna wanna do is, you can do this 2 ways. You can either use a clevis, which I don't have a clevis on me. I didn't even think about bringing one. Or you can pass your tow rope back through the eyes like this, and then tie it off to a tree. When you tie it off, you want to make sure you use a trucker's hitch or some sort of knot that you can just pull a loop through, and then it just lets itself go. But this is just so that you can secure this to that tree. I'm going to do that real fast. This is what it's going to look like. This is my winch cable. My winch cable is running over into my truck. You ran over here to the snatch block. I tied it off, it's good and tight, and that knot is so that when it tightens down on the tree like it is right now, it's not gonna cinch and I won't be able to recover that strap. Then your winch cable goes through your snatch block. Then we come over to here, and then here is that second tow strap. As you can see, you just wrap this tow strap around, grab your quick connect clip on the end of your winch cable, and just pull. We will come forward even though technically we're pulling the opposite direction. So we are going to be pulling this way, and the Jeep is going to be going this way. And again, we're only going to be doing this as if we have nothing out in front of us to pull. You can still do this as well, even if you do have something to pull. What you'll do is you'll just take your hook off of your tow strap. Okay, this is the perfect situation. Now I have my winch cable as far out as it's going to go, and I can't reach my Gladiator. I can't reach the side. Again, another good use for your tow strap, your second tow strap, because your other tow strap's tied up using your snatch block. Let's go ahead and undo that from the tree. Pull it over here. I'm going to loop this around the beam on the front of the Jeep. Then go ahead and walk to the center. So now she's connected. Now what we can do is, now you got your winch pulling on your snatch block, which is coming back into your tow straps, which are hooking up to your 2 front posts on your Jeep, and you can start pulling yourself out. I'm even pulling my truck forward right now, and she's in park. We'll go ahead and release that. So that is how you use your snatch block. You guys remember that knot I told you how to tie? Once you pull the slack out of it, then you come over here, just start working a smidge. Mind you, I just pulled my my 6,000-pound truck off of this knot. Just gotta work her a little bit. There she goes. Pull that through. Boom, we're disconnected. That was just a basic trucker's hitch, just scaled up, obviously, with 4-inch thick strap. That is my go-to hook anytime that I have to do this kind of recovery. I will show you guys how to tie this real quick. So give yourself a lot of working tail. The more tail you get, the easier this will be to tie. So go over the top, come under the bottom. You're gonna make a loop with your tail like that, and then go ahead and tighten her up to the tree. So now you have your loop with your tail. Put your hand through, pull that through, just like that, and then just work her back. And there you go. So now, as you pull here, it'll just tighten this slip knot that you made, and this knot is not gonna move. So then, once you're done pulling people out, what you can do is just grab your tail end here, pull it, whole knot comes undone. And that is strong enough to move a 6,000 pound vehicle, because that's what I just did.
All right, guys, I was doing a video editing last night and realized that I lost the audio in the last two parts of the video that I was making for y'all. I'm gonna do it here. It's the next day. Snowstorm has stopped. I think we ended up getting around 10 inches or so. As you can see, my wife's vehicle, it's just absolutely covered. One of the other pieces of equipment I carry is a shackle. You can either use this to secure your snatch block to a tree using the tow strap, or use this as an attachment point for your winch cable. The other piece of equipment that I carry with me also is a soft shackle. This is kind of a multi-purpose shackle. You can use this for a lot of different things. It can be used the same as a hard shackle, but these things are good for up to 15,000 pounds of workload, 46,000 pounds of brake strength. Highly recommend getting these as well. It's always good to have multiple tools in your tool belt so you can tackle really any kind of situation that you run into. And then finally, what would be underneath here is my traction boards. Since they're covered in snow, I'll go ahead and just talk about them real quick. Your traction boards are going to be quickest use tool when you're stuck in snow or sand. Typically the quickest to access, quickest to get set up. It's pretty common sense on how you use them. You just take them, stick them up underneath your rear tires or your front tires, and just slowly start to reverse back on them. The way they work is they have a lot of knurls on one side and then kind of a good traction texture on the other. What that does is as you back onto it, it will lock the traction board down so that it doesn't slip and ends up getting you back out. The key with these is just put them underneath, back up, stop, grab them, push them underneath, back up, grab them, so on and so forth. You'll just keep doing that until you're out of the hole. Side note, you can also use them as a shovel. So there's going to be handles on the left and right side, and some of them have handles right there at the base. You just put your hands in there and you can just use it as a shovel. And then finally, one of the last pieces of equipment that I think is definitely one of the most important and doesn't cost a whole lot of money is going to be your radio. You can pick these up off Amazon for like 30 bucks. These operate on GMRS frequencies, FRS frequencies, VHF, UHF bands. You have a lot of usability with these radios. You're supposed to have a license from the FCC to be able to use the GMRS frequencies, but when you're in a tight situation, just use it, pay the government later. The radio can also help you get unstuck, especially if you have local off-roaders and stuff like that use the radios pretty frequently. I'm going to throw up a quick card that I use for quick reference guide for the GMRS frequencies that you can just punch into these radios. But that's all I have for you guys today. I'm going to go and enjoy the snow today, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video, take a lot out of it. Please go ahead and like, comment what you guys think. Subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to grow this channel, and if you guys do find anything valuable out of this video, share it as well. It would do me a lot to get my name out there and kind of help build my business that I'm building. Till next time, thanks guys.